Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Timber Dune, where our illustrious beavers have started surviving a little bit better. And you guys have left some awesome ideas as far as automation and all that fun jazz. So we're going to try to implement a few of those ideas in today's episode. And then one thing that I do want to very heavily tackle is digging this hole out, because I want to gain access to these underground rivers a bit more efficiently, so that we can start the diversion process for all of that water down there. Because while we are in the middle of a drought, there are still bad tides ahead, so we need to tackle that, get down in there, create, like I said, the diversion pathway for the bad water to punt out somewhere. And then we also want to create a reservoir over here, so we'll be spending a little bit of time blasting a reservoir out in this area as well, so we can have copious amounts of the life juice here for our beavers to take advantage of for the prolonged periods of droughts that are inevitable at this point. So that is priority number one, or primary, we'll call it priority number 1B, if you will, is the reservoir. Priority number 1 is cutting down, creating a diversion system so that we don't have an explosion of bad water up here, which will inevitably occur because of the fact that we are looking at, oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. Yeah, that button. There we go. Because water only has so many escapes down here. And if we get down into even this one, so we've got water sources here that are pumping through and out this side. That's not really a solid way to get rid of water. So, yeah, we need a place for that water to go that's not exploding everywhere. In theory, it shouldn't explode because it's got a singular point of exit, so maybe we don't need to be too concerned about it. But I do want to get all of the bad water out of here, out of the system, and I do want to capture as much of this water as possible before it turns into some other sort of problem for us. So that's what we're going to tackle today. Like I said, automation, water, and I'll probably try something with this whole system, see if we can get a little bit more juice out of this. We're currently sitting at about 5,900. We'll see if blocking this off, seeing it down the singular path, actually provides us with double that power, or even a little bit more, because right now they're only producing 208, which is a fair amount below what they should be able to produce at just standard water flow over there. So that's something that we're going to tackle today. But anyway, let's hit that button. Let's get things 3 times speed. And I did call myself out a couple times as well, so it's a small part of this automation process. I do want to actually throw in a few more of these depth sensors in here, because I left this one being connected to that, and to this one, and that one, and I looked away during that speed up montage that we were working on the other day, and it completely failed. And so I had to come over here and rescue a bunch of crops and replant a bunch of crops. So that is something that we're going to have to deal with in another fashion. So that's what we're going to do. We're also going to throw in a platform over here, do the same type of deal. And I don't like the idea of having to do this, because that's a lot of additional sensors that we're going to have running around this place, and having to tie each of them individually. I'd rather not have to tie them individually, but we'll deal with that as we will. So here we are. We're at how do we say this? Kohlrabi. We'll call this soybeans. Call this soybean sensor. Soybean sensor. And so we'll grab that. We'll hit this automation soybean sensor there. Do the same thing over here as soon as they get that in. I have to provide them the means to actually get up here somehow. So we'll just tell them to not plant this one, and probably not replant this one. That'll give us a little bit of access up there, maybe, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. We might move this over to the other side. so we don't have to come back around. There we go. Put this in. Give me that depth sensor. We'll have to come back in and finagle these, because right now I want less than 0.4. And I think we can copy that. So Control C, I think, is the button to do that. We come over here and then Control V. No. What was the button to do the? No, it's just V. Okay, so copy settings is V. So we'll do that. Wait, that button, and that button. Those settings have been copied. We want to change this to oak sensor. And we might even do a little bit of shenaniganry and start doing some other fun stuff. I don't know. Don't know. All right. That'll take a second for them to get to all of that. I don't know why we're having an issue there, but that's fine. Another thing that I do want to do is expand our storage a little bit, so we've got a little bit of time to tackle that. And someone did throw out an awesome idea as far as what we can do with our beavers during their periods of boredom, i.e. when all of these are paused, right? We can throw in a couple of beautiful sensors, or so apply the depth sensors to the what are they called, to the builders huts. So with the builders huts tapped in, then we can what is the word there that I want to use? With the builders huts tapped in to the depth sensor, then that means that we can just tell those to be turned on at the point that the other side is turned off. So that is something that I really like. That was a pretty neat idea. And I want to also, we want you guys to be logs, and you're just a general obtain. We're going to copy that to this row. We're going to copy that to this row as well. And we do need to go up one more layer, it seems. I think we're doing good on water now, since we're tapped into all of this juice down here. These guys are probably all bored because they've already sucked all that dry down here. Yeah, that's all dry. So we do want to start getting down a little deeper, but I also want to be cognizant of the fact that there's a bad water river that runs through there, and then we need to somehow tap into this side as well. But I think we're okay for now, just tapping into that one top shelf, or that one top area. So I think that is fine. We'll see if that is a true statement or not. And at some point today, I did want to actually get into our two-way stations, because the two-way stations will speed up this entire process over here. I still want to keep these guys in a separate district. I just feel like that's doing us wonderful favors over there. So I like that. I like that a lot. I want this to be less than 1.5. We want to automate this. Which depth sensor did we attach this to? This is depth sensor 6. We'll call this bad water. Bad water sensor. Okay. We want you on the bad water sensor. Oh, that's cool. So you can click this and then you can select the sensor. You don't have to do the drop down. So that's cool. And so I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work. When it's off, go to 3.0, and then when it's on, bring it back down to... We'll have to see how this works. So right now it's on. I think that's what we want it to do. Or are we doing this the inverse? So you are... Okay, we need to flip that. So that is like that. So that means that is in the off position. And so when that's in the off position, we need to drop this down to probably not that high. Right now, it's fine because we have only so much water in here. But now it should be measuring this out. And when it reaches 1.7, it should snap this shut, is my understanding. Hopefully, we'll see. And let's go ahead and fix this over here real quick. So I want all of you to be set to planks, obtain, and we'll just copy that across the board up top over here. That'll provide us a fair amount of storage for all of the other goods, which is a fantastical thing. And now we can start thinking about this whole shenaniganry over here. So over here, first off, let's make their lives a tad bit easier. Yeah, we'll do that here. Let's give us a little bit of extract coming in. And then I would also like to throw in a small or medium warehouse here for explosives. And I think we can go ahead and pause all of you guys. No need for y'all in there right here. I want this prioritized obtain. Prioritize obtain there as well. And now let's go ahead and start blasting. So I think what we want to do is honestly work our way. How do we want to work our way down? I think the easiest would be to do something along these lines. All right, I think getting down here, so blasting down, that gives us a nice access point. Then we can start. That'll give us double entry areas here to then start working our way out for a diversion pathway. And then we can start slowly blasting things out. And if we do it this way, then in theory, we should be good to blast things down and still have access to everything. We could probably do 2 lines without too much consternation. Because right now, yeah, 2 lines, we can gain access to either side, and we can just spread out either way, and I feel like that'll be totally fine. I would love to have bots at this point, so we could have builders working throughout the night. Right now, they're not. But that's fine. I do want to put in a little bit of entertainment for our beavers real quick, just because we can. We'll burn the 400 science, throw that in. Bad water should be working now. And apparently we have drained most of this out. Looks like, which is a good thing. I think, yeah, I don't know if this whole sensor system will work for droughts, honestly. We'll have to think about that. Get that thrown in. Blast this down. Missed one, but that's fine. We'll come back in and throw that in a moment. And we should be doing decent on extract. We're not doing that good on extract. What is the productivity? It's awful for everybody because we're doing so poorly on bad water. Let's see if we can rectify that real quick. Can't really put any more in this area. That's kind of awful. We could put a few more down here, maybe. Maybe that's probably the best. Let's do that. 1, 2. Let's give this a priority bump. And then, additionally, I don't want to sneak over here and do something along these lines. And that means grabbing that, pulling this over, not to there. Let's do this here. We're tackling 2 separate or 3 separate build projects at the same time. We'll see if they can get something accomplished in a timely fashion. We'll see. Water's at 4.8k. We still have 10 days left. We're just barely meeting the demand there. And I think we can honestly pause all of these. Stop burning all that water because we do have 4,000 units of power coming in from the large water wheels. That'll save us a good amount of water for the duration of this drought. So that is good for us. We can blast this down, and we can go ahead and throw this down here as well. And let's see where that puts us. That puts us almost tapping into that. So that is good. All right. And we missed that by a couple lines, but that is fine. We'll come in here, maybe. And then I think what we can do is set up our bad water exclusion zone, like back in here. I think that's what we can do. We come in, we blast through here, walk around this corner, set in a series of tunnels back here. So we can go ahead and plan that out now. Tunnels out this way. Then, now the question is on these valves, are they are the same. Okay, that's good. So we can do valves like that, yes. And we can put a levee in right here and right here. Pausing, no, well, no, we can't really pause that one. We need to get down there. So that gets us down here. Puts us at the lowest level. Right, that gains us access to that. We honestly probably just need to cut through 3 more spots this way, because we need to gain access to that anyway. Maybe. I don't know. We also need to get down into that. We'll do a cutout here. I think these are the... Let's see. Double check this. So these are the positive ones. These are the negative ones over here. No, they're both positive. Alright. That's interesting. That is very interesting. So we'll have to do a little cutout for bad water on this side and a cutout for bad water over here as well, just so we can have an easier way of going about and removing all of the bads. So that should be something. Let's go ahead and get that dev mode turned off so you guys don't think I'm using buttons I shouldn't be using. I would not do that. I feel like that's cheating, and I don't like cheating. I don't like it. All right. All right. So that is all in. Sweet. That is good. We're still blasting our way down. That is fantastic. That should put us into a decent spot cutting into that line, right? We might need to go one more back, but that's fine. That's acceptable. This all went in pretty quickly, so that is beautiful. Now we can... I think that's at 1 down there, right? No, it's a little shy of 1, but that's okay. Now we blast down a little bit more. Now we do single rows like this. And like that. And we can also do the same on this side, just for giggles. Alright, need that one to be tossed in, built up, and ready to rock. We are out of beavers somehow. Oh, yeah. I paused all of these because I was very concerned about water consumption, and water consumption has been quasi taken care of, which is good. They chopped that down, they did. So now we can give them a little bit of stair action to get up there, and let them plant that, and the same thing over here. We can do that and build that spot. They have this in for us. That means that goes out like that. And then we need to go one more down over here. Sweet. That is all going in. The last little piece is slapped in. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. That gets blasted down. And that is what we wanted to see. Now, I'm just now realizing that we're going to have a little bit of an issue trying to tackle all this. But we can just figure that out as we go. Yeah, it'll be fine, allegedly. Seriously, where can we save on some? Okay, that's, you know what, it's all hauling post positions. We've still got plenty of haulers floating around the cabin, so I think we'll be fine in that regard. We did get all of these turned on, so that is good. They are working that. This is in now. So it didn't go up double. So it was not a net gain, honestly. So it's the same amount of juice going across, or same amount of power being produced. So we went from 200 to 400. No win there. But if we do extend this and then probably wrap it back around and then have it punt off the edge over here, then we can, in theory, get even more juice out of there. So technically that is something that we could do, but that is not the priority today. The priority today is the automation and this this whole shenaniganry here. We're going to continue to work on that. Keep blasting this down. Come in here. We're going to keep working our way through and through and through. And I also need to blast this out too as well. So that is something that we want to tackle. I want you guys to focus on that one right there instead of the other things. We're still doing decent on explosives. I feel like we might need to expand the explosive production to keep up the demand that we are currently putting on all of the explosive production, but we're still all right. Bad water's in a better spot, so I don't think we need to be too concerned about that either. I think we can rip this out. That didn't really help us out at all, honestly. Rip those two out. That's fine. Let's go ahead and put in an explosive factory ×2 in here. And that looks a little something like this. Like that. We grab this, connect this path up, such as. And that should be good there, and they should have access to plenty of bad water and everything. So that will meet the intent, and I think we're doing decent enough power-wise so we can turn the number cruncher back on. We can start blasting all of this out. They get this in. They did, and it's beautiful, and we're ready for that. Awesome. Now we can come in here, start working our way down. That looks a little something like this. We go like that, we go like this, and we go like that, and we go like... Yeah. This is where the ladder mod would be brilliant. But alas, we do not have the ladder mod turned on. Alright, I don't know if I put this far enough back, so let's pause for a second before we continue on. Yeah, we might need to pull this back a little bit. Or we do something ridiculous. Why not? All right, let's do ridiculous things. Boosh. Easy. Sort of. We'll have to blast out a spot for our not enough science. What? Hey. There's no way I didn't have enough science for that. Okay. Copy. Fine. We'll rectify that. Maybe. I really shouldn't have done this like this. Actually, I have an idea as to how to actually fix that down at the bottom. So, yeah, let's keep working this way. It'll work. Probably should stop blasting things down like this because I have an idea as to how to tackle this, but it's fine. We'll work on that at some point or another, but that's cool. Did they put these in? They did. That is that condition. I want you to be farm eggplant. I didn't spell eggplant correctly. There we go. I want you automated to... Let's just click that button. You automated to that button. You are off until less than 0.4. You should be the same, off until less than 0.4. Are you attached to that? You are. That is the same here. You're on the soybean. Sweet. That's all connected. We could throw in an additional one over here, so that would be helpful in that regard as well. Throw in another depth sensor here. This is that 0.4 less than. Turn that on. That gets attached to this. That one there. That should meet the intent. We still have 3 days left, and we have copious amounts of juice available to us. We're doing not the greatest still on explosives. They're very slowly putting in this whole system, and science is finally catching back up with what we need out of it. So we can start working on the other shenaniganry, which is a good thing. They're very, very slowly working on all that, but that's fine. Okay. Let's see here. You need to be select for explosives, and the same for you. Copy paste function probably would have been beneficial in that regard, but that's okay. That's fine. Yeah, we went from 3,000 to 4,000. Yeah, I think this. Sure, we went from 3,000 to 4,000. We went up 1,000 units of horsepower, so I'll call that a win. I'll call it a dub. It's acceptable. It is completely and totally acceptable. I need to expedite this whole process over here. We want planks. I want probably metal blocks tossed in here too. Probably not a large one. We'll do a small industrial pile for metal blocks, because we are going to need a lot of planks down here. And what does this require? That requires gears. 20 gears. That's all nearby, so that shouldn't be an issue. Give that a priority bump. We'll hit the prioritize obtain on both of these, just so that the haulers know to bring all that material over appropriately, and that will be amazing. Okay, that is down. That is everything down there, I think, is not at the lowest level. Honestly, I think we could probably get away with just doing doubles here, but I'm committed to the bit at this point. If you're going to do something stupid, go all the way in. Wait, no. I think there was a movie that taught us not to do that, so don't do that. The documentary Tropic Thunder, I think. Maybe? I think that's what it was. Alright, so that goes in there. We toss that in. Okay, we are out of science again, so we just get to connect it with that instead. Alright, that's fine. And then additionally, we want to hit these corners here. That goes like that, that. Should work. We'll just have to keep blasting our way down. And then ripping this around to that side, ripping this around to this side as well, so we can gain access to all those points. Let them keep working that. I'd rather have them focus this so we can start moving our way down there. How much science did we need for the tubeway? 200 or 500? We're already back up to 120. I really would like to know what I burnt my 14,000 science on. Oops. Oh, that's terrible. Terrible life choices, but it's okay, you know? It's all right. Okay, sweet. They are slowly throwing all those in for us. That's cool. I don't want to expend all of our stuff on vertical tubeways. Don't really need a gate here. But I do want to actually grab this, and we want to blast through this tunnel here. We want to blast through this tunnel, or tunnel that way as well. We also want to grab this and no, run this way like that. I'll have to do something along those lines there as well, but that's fine and acceptable. And still need 200 more science. But while we're waiting on science to rack in, we can keep blasting all this out, which is acceptable use of our time, I suppose. Do need to get down here and blast all this out. I don't really need to do that. We just need to cut that corner and that'll be fine. That'll be acceptable. That goes boom, that goes boom, that goes like this. Play boom. I'm here for it. Alright, extract is still not in the best of spots. We throw in another centrifuge. It'll be a good thing. We'll toss that in as a priority build. These guys are all bored over here because that water is trapped on the other side, but these guys are actively doing things, so that's where all of our bad water is coming in, and that is fantastic for us. We're just going to keep cutting our way down. And it will be glorious. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself so I can semi-sleep at night. We'll see if this is a true statement. I probably could have saved a lot of other explosives by not blasting out these lines and just cutting down like this and then dropping in and throwing in our tunnels, but it's fine. Everything's fine. All right, there's our science though. We can actually start working on this whole system here. So let's grab this. We're going to rip this back to there. Yes, give me that science. Then we want... Is there enough room in here for us to put one of these two-way stations in? Not really. Not really. Okay, let's go check on our automation system because I'm very much concerned about that. And then, oh, another thing that I saw and I like the idea of is we can set up some sort of system to allow this water to go elsewhere. Since it's just filling this reservoir up right now, we can set up like an aquifer, cap this off, and have this push out and go fill another reservoir somewhere, which would be quite nice, actually. Quite nice indeed. And we've lost all of our hauling positions to the water positions here, which is fine. It's required. It's absolutely 1000% necessary. All right. We need the water to be pumping. Honestly, we should probably pause a few of the builders' huts so that we can get more haulers moving about the cabin. And I do want to see what's happening with our beavers, which our population is regrowing, which is good. Alright, let's keep blasting our way down here. Doing the same across the board. Still probably the worst way I could have gone about doing all of this, but is what it is. We'll stop doing that whole shtick down there, because that's a waste of explosives. Okay. How are we doing in this regard? They have given us access to all of this, so that is good for us. We want to break that out, break that out. We need to go up one more, break all of this out here as well. And then we also want to put in this little thing right there. And we can unpause a couple of these just so we can expedite the reclaiming of our watery time. Those guys, maybe we'll put them on the other side so that they're a little closer to that tank that is set to supply, so that is good. We are blasted through there, so that is good. So water is coming in, and I would like to get down there much quicker than what we are currently getting down there at this rate. Have we cut the line yet? I do not believe we have. We still need to continue to place all these. And that water is flooding out. Just hope that we are not causing any other problems. That water is now going somewhere else and getting sucked out somewhere. So wait, did we misread this? That one is negative. Okay. So we need to come across to this side and yeah, that's where we need to put the diversion system in. Okay. So that is not good. One, we want to block that off. So let's go ahead and rip this out. We need to actually rage in down here. But we need to rip all of that out. That should allow us to place this two-way station in right here. What was it saying? It should have been within range. And now we want to grab this. We want to pull this out. We want to go this way. And then run all the way across the way. All the way, as one would say. Alright, and this needs to come down this way. That gets connected to there. We want to run this all the way over here. And then we want to set up our tunnel system back this way. And we want to cut that way as well. And we'll do bad water valves. So put valves in there. Okay, that's already in. Two-way station is in. Fantastic. Wonderful. Wunderbar, as one of my friends would say. That goes in like that. Go and pull this up. This is full, so that is good. Like, that is a fair amount of water that is available to us. And we can pump that out to our heart's content, which will be nice. Keep blasting this out so that we can gain access to all of that jazz. And I still need to gain access at least into there, so we might as well throw in a little something. We can crawl back in there. I did this in the most horrendous way possible. I probably should have figured something differently about that whole shtick, but this is fine. They should be able to reach all this now. I kind of want to give this a priority bump, as in max priority. Get that in yesterday. That's going to be quite the trek for them to do, which is awful. But I don't really have much else I can do about that. We could block this access point off again so that we don't have bad water running in when we do have a bad tide. Because that would be bad. They're blasting stuff down there. That's why we're seeing that that fluctuation right there, which is acceptable. How are we doing on this side? That is working. This is... So why are we not getting any... This is being quite slow, but that's fine. That'll start filling up here shortly. That's okay. That's acceptable. All right. How are we doing on this side? We are making progress. They have blasted 2 out. And it is a bad tide, so we do need to do something about this now. That means that we've also got to break into here. It's gonna be hard to do, honestly. How do we want to break into that? Let me see here. So I think what we can do is very simply just grab this, go this way. Do we have any points of entry? We do not, so we're going to have to blast this out too. Don't like having to blast this out, but it is going to have to happen. And that gives us access to that, and then we'll have to figure that all out. We may have to just contend with this being poo water for a moment, which is not the greatest. Or we could just block it off like we originally planned on doing. Except the fact that this isn't going to work quite yet. Yeah, and we can't really work in there during the bad tide anyway, so that's kind of stinky. That's all just fluctuating because of other things. Yeah, that stinks. We've got 2.5 days to figure this all out. I don't think we're going to be able to make it in time. Yeah, this is taking forever. We could just block this off. I don't want to do that because it's going to cause more issues than it solves. We did say that we wanted to block this off. We could do... Yeah, I think what we need to do is block access to this. That means that they should come out of there. Then we block access to there just so that when we reconnect things, they don't think it's necessary to crawl back in there. Then we go ahead and rip this out. We put in a levee or two just to ensure that we are not letting any more of that water in. Darn it. Arrgh. Oops. That's fine. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to put a levee in right here as well. Yeah, they went above and beyond on that. Okay, cool. That'll prevent that water from messing with all of that. Okay. Boo. It lets them get back down into there, and they should be able to gain access to all that. That gets access to that. They've already built that for us. They should be able to build that for us, and then in turn build that there, and that's good. You guys build these two, please, and thank you. Max priority. That is the maxest of priorities there. Let's pull ourselves back up to that area. That's solved there. We solved this. I don't think we can solve this in time. That's the obnoxious thing. This backs up enough. I don't know. This is going to be awful. Plans were made and then poorly executed. I should have taken advantage of that a little bit more aggressively elsewhere, but we're solving it. This is working, though, so that's cool. That's awesome. Okay. Well, we can't really tackle any more of that today, so that means that we get to spend a little bit of time just making their lives a little bit easier, traversing everything. And I think what we need to do is actually clean up some of this area. I would like to have this real estate for cubeways. We can do even tunnel systems throughout here. Tunnels all the way. This way and this way. And then this way. I never did set these up on anything, did I? Put that on there. Put that on there. So when it's off, they're at 100. It's in the off position, and when it's on, they're at or 0. So when it's off, they're at 0. When it's on, they're at 1. So that should snap as soon as the bad tide kicks off, in theory. And the same thing goes for the fluid dumps here. Those should turn on as soon as the bad tide kicks off. And we're still at 8K units of water. We'll have plenty of time to pump out the remainder of this juice. That'll put us in excess of 12K probably, which should be more than enough to meet the demand for our beavers, which is a good thing. Okay, let's check the automation systems, see if they worked appropriately, and that is going to be a fantastic and wonderful. Wunderbar. We've blocked access for a little bit of poo water to come in, so that's good. How is this working? Yeah, that is moving a lot of bit faster now than I would like it to. We could, in theory, keep building that system under here with just tubeways. It will take a hot minute to accomplish that, and I'm not opposed to that, honestly, because I do want to prevent a fair portion of this coming in. We could do that. Run tubeways all the way across here, continue blasting this out, setting up our... And they shouldn't get sick, right? And I just want to check these, right? These should be at negative strength. Yeah. That's at negative strength. These are positive. Yeah. Okay. Maybe that is something we do. I do want to keep working on this, and there's no reason to not keep working on that. Check on this whole shtick. So that worked. These are... I want to see their current condition. Okay. Well, other than visually assessing the position it's in, like, where's our indicator of the position? Like, current position is in off or on position. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, well, I guess giant glowing indicator should give it away. So there's that. But, you know, I'm dumb. Okay. Cool story, bro. Let's keep working through here. I want to... really don't want to have to dig all the way across the world with the tubeways, but it is what it is. Let's do that. Let's do it. That gained access. That just let everything of that blitz into here. That's blitzing into there, which is not the coolest. I probably shouldn't have done that, but you know what? We're committed. All right. Rip out all of that pathing so that's out of the way. Do the same thing. Yeah, now it's raging against the machine, and it's gonna start filling this entire area up with poo water. Just to be expected. Hopefully that doesn't cause us any issues. It's going to cause us issues, I'm pretty sure about that, but you know what? This is fine. And is this really necessary? I don't think so, but you know what? Again, we're already committed, alright? We're committed to the bit. It'll take them a hot minute to get into all of there and do the thing, but you know what? Fine. Yeah, this is just all filling in with poo water now. That's just a lot of poo water. But it's clean water for now, I think. So, sure. It's all just dumping back into that system, and then we should probably expand this just a little bit. Don't want to deal with Poocano, if you will. Not a fan of Poocanos. All right. Get that in there. Let's blast that one out right there. Yeah, there's the poo water. We should be okay. No one should get sick. It's only an 18-day bad tide, so in theory, we should be able to work around everything and get some nice stuff out of there. Power's still doing good. Is our demand really 3,100? How is our demand so high? That is insane. I'm actually flabbergasted by that. Okay, you can go away, you can go away. They've already put in all of those things for us, so that's pretty nice. We can keep working our way this way as well. Running that way and that way. This way. This is probably a huge waste of our material, but you know what? We're committed. Okay, that's cool. I might want to somehow make our way in this way as well. Just to make our guys' lives a little bit easier on this side. This is going to consume a lot of planks and everything. But it's okay. We'll do... probably just break out right there. And we'll put in... our tunnel right there, and that's where that can pop up at, and then do the same thing over here. Tunnel that portion out right there. I don't know why I still have these over here, but they're there anyway, so that's fine. That's acceptable. These are allegedly working as advertised, so that is good to see. These guys are still actively pumping for the foreseeable future. That will get... those will get turned off when that is emptied. Now this is full of poo water. Okay. Blast that out. And blast this out. And I did need to blast this portion out there and there. Because duh. Let's give this some max priority. Just so we have an escape point for all the poo water. Which we seem to be doing okay on. I just want to ensure that we don't have an issue. These guys are all bored because there's no actual good water for them to work with. But that's okay. We're at 9.9k, 300. We'll call it an easy 400 units of water per day. We have 8,000 units for a 20-day cycle. We're good there. I think this needs to be pulled up to 0.5 because this guy is fighting. Oh no! Yeah, that was dumb of me. Yeah, that was really dumb of me. Really, really dumb of me. I should have thought about that. But that's what I get for not thinking. We'll get that rectified. He's just dumping water back into there, and that's not what we want to have happen. Okay, cool. Cool story, Brosif. That's going in. How are we doing on our beaver population? We're slowly catching back up. It is taking its time. And how's this monstrosity of a two-way system coming along? Very slowly. We shouldn't have anybody getting sick in there because they are in the two-ways. So that should be fine in that regard. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself, so I can very easily sleep at night. And they are very, very slowly putting in all of our tunnels and everything, so that's cool. What is happening here? Why are we drying out? We shouldn't be drying out here. Why are you drying out? I have not changed anything that would require or cause that drying out to occur. Interesting. Weird. Very weird indeed. Oh, you know what? It's probably because of that break right there. Maybe? Yeah, I think that's probably what caused it. Which is interesting. I didn't know that. Well, it kind of makes sense. It makes sense. I don't like it, but it makes sense. They did put that in. We're going to figure out a way to get our tunnel system in and around there. But that is something for me to figure out in a little bit. They are slowly working their way over here. What we need to do is... Yeah, I've made an oopsie. I've made quite the oopsie. Because this is going to fill this whole line in and do the same all the way back there. We need to block it off from feeding back into here. And I still need to gain access to cut around and in. Like, it will irrigate stuff, which is good. We need to irrigate the things. I can't really irrigate the entire world with just one fluid dump. Or, yeah. Yeah. Interesting problem or interesting dilemma I've created for myself. Do I need this lever here anymore? I don't. This is working as advertised. That's cool. That's a cool story, bro. Yeah. All right. And then let's see here. I can automate you guys on this depth sensor. Right? So I want you the inverse of that depth sensor. So do I have to put another depth sensor in? Is that what I have to do there? I think I do. Because right now, if they're attached to that, it would get paused. So I do have to put in a secondary depth sensor. And I do need to pull this down. So those stay on until that gets completely emptied out. At which point all of those positions will empty out and then go work in the hauling posts. Yeah, I do think we need to put another depth sensor. So let's go ahead and do something like that. Put that in right there. Put this in right here. And this one will be... greater than 0.1. You'll be... No, less than point, greater than a point. Yep. I don't know. Well, I'll have to mess with that in a little bit. Okay. Choices. Everybody's got choices, and we are cleaning this out, which is a good thing. Being slow, we are making our way down here, which is being slow, but we are making progress, so that is good. We can do the same thing on this side, just keep punting our way back here, which is going to burn a lot of materials to do so, but it allows us to continue to work during the bad tide, which is beneficial. It makes us not be burning all of our time waiting for another season to come in, so that'll let them work that way for a little bit. These guys are a quarter of the way there, so that's cool. I'm happy about that. It doesn't appear as though we've made much progress, but we've done some cool stuff for the most part. We're making our large reservoir. I have a better way to cut this out a little bit more in the future, which I will definitely be doing, as opposed to that terrible choice that I've made there, but that's okay. We'll address that in due time. They are slowly working their way across here, so that is good. We could probably give this a plus up just so that they can get that tackled. And I need to also prevent that water from spilling out somewhere, so that means coming in here and probably putting in a levee here. And then putting this on top of there, and then giving this a max priority so that we don't cause any issues. They'll throw that in. That'll get all rectified. They'll put this in. That'll prevent the water from spilling out, which is what we want to do. We'll have to figure out a way to work our way around that. That is kind of working as anticipated. Probably give us a little bit of a spillway on this side just so that we can have a little bit of water to backfill all of that, but pretty low on the priority list. Though I would like to get all of that green water up and running again too. But this little line of water, this one pumper should be enough to meet the demand in that regard. I'm not too concerned about it. It will consume a lot of our water though. But I think we're doing decent on water. We are creating this massive reservoir over here, so that's going to work out beautifully for us. And I am happy about all of this. I think we're in a pretty cool spot. And I hope you guys are enjoying the chaos with me. It doesn't look the most beautiful, but things are going. You know, we're making a reservoir. We're blitzing in and gaining access to all the rivers, which is what we want to see. We fixed the power system, so we've got an extra 1,000 units of horsepower running across the area, so that is good. And we're plussing back up our total beaver population again, now that we are no longer no longer concerned about losing all of our beavers to the drought that was upon us. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate that as well. And if you haven't, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. All right. Thanks for being here. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. Stay safe. Don't do anything dumb, dangerous, different. We'll catch you on the flip side. If I don't know what to do with my hands. And Timber Dune. I'm out. See ya.